Hey everyone, welcome back to the Tune Project. Today I have another bow stroke for you. The last bow stroke we talked about was spiccato, and today I'm going to be teaching you about sautillé, what it is and how you can incorporate it into your practicing. But before we jump into the video, if you do find this video to be helpful and enjoy it, a thumbs up is always greatly appreciated, and if you're not already subscribed to the Tune Project but enjoy my videos, consider hitting that red subscribe button below. So first of all, I want to address the fact that this sautillé stroke is very similar to the last bow stroke we talked about, spiccato, but there are a few key differences. So I'm going to just quickly go over those before giving you a demonstration of sautillé. So with the spiccato stroke, we talked about how we want to play around the balance point of the bow, maybe a little bit above, but with the sautillé stroke, we're going to come higher than that to more around the midpoint, or whatever the bounciest part of your bow is, where you can really get the most bounce out of it. That's where we want to be for this stroke, because it is actually quite a bit faster than spiccato. So that's another one of the differences is, you know, we're moving at a faster tempo. We kind of want to let the bow do its thing rather than trying to control it, whereas we need more of that control with the spiccato stroke. So along with that, another difference you could say between the two is the way that we hold our bow. So not necessarily the finger placement itself, but just in the sense that we want to be more relaxed. Now, I always talk about staying relaxed, keeping both of your hands relaxed whenever you play, and that's definitely the case with spiccato, but in the case of sautillé, we want to have an even looser grip on the bow. So again, our fingers will stay the same, our hand shape is going to be the same, but we're going to kind of allow the bow to ricochet and do what it needs to do in order to achieve this stroke. Because it is moving so quickly, there needs to be a level of relaxation from the hand, because what happens is if we are not relaxed, if we're holding any sort of tension in our hand as we're trying to play this stroke, it's just not going to happen as easily. We really do need to kind of relinquish our right hand's control and allow the bow to move freely. It'll be much easier, especially played at this faster tempo. So for this sautillé stroke, we are starting from above the string, and that's another sort of similarity between spiccato and sautillé. We're coming in from above the string, and again, we are around the midpoint of the bow. So wherever you can get the most flexibility in your bow hair, that's where we want to be. And so go ahead and bring your bow to the A string, and we are just going to drop our bow down on a downstroke. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing on an upstroke. And then go ahead and just try that slowly a few times back and forth. And it's almost a little bit more difficult to play this stroke slowly just because it is intended to be played faster, but if we were to slow it down, that's really what it would sound like. So go ahead and practice that just back and forth on the A string. You can practice on any of the other strings as well, really making sure that your fingers are nice and loose as you're doing it, and then we can get into the faster part of this. Now, I will say this is not a beginner bow stroke by any means. It's definitely more on the advanced side. So if you are there, awesome. If you're not quite there yet, that's okay. There are plenty of other bow strokes that you can do in the meantime. I've got other videos and various techniques and things that you can take a look at, but this one is definitely on the more advanced side, so just be warned. So I'm just gonna give a quick demo so you can hear sautillé in real time on the A string, and I'm just gonna play this at a faster tempo. Again, we're thinking of keeping everything nice and relaxed, and we're starting from above the string at around the midpoint of the bow. All right, so that is an idea of sautillé, how to play it. Again, yes, it is very fast, so if you're not used to bow strokes like this, then maybe work your way up to it, starting with some other ones. But for those of you who are ready to dive in, I mean, that is the stroke, that's what we're working with. You can find this bow stroke featured in many, especially classical works of music for the violin. The one that comes to mind is Chardas by Monty. That's probably one of my favorite solo violin pieces. And that stroke, sautillé, is featured all throughout some of these passages in that piece. For example, this little passage here. So, what are some ways that you can incorporate this sautillé bow stroke into your own playing, into your own practicing, and perhaps some of the pieces that you're currently working on? Well, the first thing would be to, as I always say, start on open strings. That's going to be the best way to go for learning anything new. Just keep it as simple as possible. Just get used to the actual motion itself, keeping your fingers relaxed, keeping your hand relaxed. Again, just letting the bow do its work. We're not trying to force anything, overly control anything. We're kind of just letting it go, and it kind of goes on automatic. So open strings would be the first way. The second way would be to just see if there are any pieces that incorporate this stroke. I just used Chardis as an example, but there are many others, and you could even find pieces or tunes that are not necessarily in the classical style if that's not your thing, but just be creative with it and see how you can incorporate some of the things that you already know, or maybe something you're working on with this bow stroke. And finally, another way that you can start to introduce and incorporate this sautillé stroke is, in addition to the open strings and the pieces, is to just find little exercises, little fun finger patterns that you can work with this one. If you're familiar with arpeggios or just different finger pattern sequences, this is a great one to add into that, where you're incorporating the left hand while also playing sautillé. It's a great way to just sort of slowly introduce the stroke into your fingers. So I hope you guys enjoyed learning a little bit about sautillé today. I hope you can find some ways to incorporate it into your own playing. Maybe there's some ways that I didn't mention that come to mind that you can start to use in terms of just getting more familiar with it, practicing it, and feeling more comfortable with it overall within your own repertoire. Well, thanks again so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Happy practicing. If you'd like to further your support of the Tune Project, be sure to head over to patreon.com/thetuneproject for information on that. And if you're planning on buying any music or doing any shopping on Amazon, be sure to head over to the Tune Project website, which I linked in the description box of all of my videos. Click my Amazon banner, and whatever you purchase, a small percentage of that will go toward the Tune Project. This just keeps the Tune Project going and allows me to continue to create free content for you all.